Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dugout Daily. I'm Charlie and I'm joined by Bernard. How are you, mate?
I'm fine, mate. How are you today?
I'm not bad. We'll get straight to it then. Norwich 0, City 4. A comfortable win, really, with a Raheem Sterling hat-trick and a goal by Phil Foden. What was your thoughts on the game, Bernard?
Yeah, I don't think we ever really got out of second or third gear, to be honest with you. Norwich had I think, one good chance where they hit the post, didn't they? After we'd sort of hit the post and had a couple of chances. And that was about it, really. They were very, I don't know, they played okay, but obviously we can see while they're struggling and perhaps obviously winning last 4 out of 5, I thought they might be a little bit better than they were and a bit more attack-minded, but again, they can only play as well as City allow them to play at the moment because City are far superior. And I don't think we really got beyond second or third gear in the game, and we're still good enough.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get to it then. First up is the starting 11, of course, starting with City's team. It was Edison in goal, a back four of Walker, Diaz, Ake and Zinchenko, Fernandinho, Bernardo Silva and Gundagan in the midfield, Mahrez on the right, Sterling on the left, with Foden in the false nine. What was your thoughts on the starting 11?
Yeah, I was a bit worried. I was there. I went down to Norwich. I was there. I was a bit. Pep's got faith in his squad, mate, and I think a lot of City fans are a bit like me. I don't know what your views are on this, but I always think that was a little bit below our best team. There was at least 5 key players missing from that team, and when he starts altering more than 2 or 3 key players from the team, I do start to worry because we're not always at our best. But we have to have faith in Pep, and against a team like Norwich, we shouldn't be worried. We shouldn't be worried when he makes 5 changes. And to be honest with you, the guys who came in played very, very well. So, but before the game, I must admit, I thought, what are you doing? You know, I was panicking just a little bit. I don't know about you, what you thought.
Yeah. As soon when I saw the lineup and I saw Ake and Zinchenko, I was a bit worried, to be honest. So we've of course talked about the City team, the Norwich team. Next up, it was former City man Angus Gunn in goal, a back four of Max Aarons, Grant Hanley, Gibson, and Brandon Williams, with Billy Gilmore, Lise Malou and Kenny McLean in the midfield. Sargent on the right, Rashika on the left with Teemu Pukki up top. What was your thoughts on the Norwich team when you saw it?
Yeah, I didn't realise Brandon Williams would get so much stick, but I've obviously learnt a few things since and probably understand it, all the rubbish he got. But yeah, I mean, I'm not impressed with Pukki. He never does it at Premier League level, so I wasn't overly perturbed by the team. And I think apart from a couple of brief moments in the first, say, 10 or 15 minutes, I think Pukki was as nondescript as I thought he would be. There's nothing real. There's a couple of good young players, but nothing in that lineup that should have cast any real worries in us.
Yeah, definitely not. We'll look at the stats then for this game, and the stats look like this: Norwich with 29% possession, City with 71%. 8 shots to 22, 3 shots on target to 9, 4 shots off target to 8, 1 block shot to 5, 4 corners to 12, 2 offsides each, 7 fouls to 8, no yellow cards to 2, no big chances to 6, no big chances missed to 4. Norwich hit the woodwork once, we hit the woodwork twice. 7 shots inside the box to 18, 1 shot outside the box to 4, 5 saves to 3, 281 passes to 707, 75% accurate passes to 91%, 39% completed long balls to 72%, 50% accurate crosses for Norwich, 15% for City, 60% successful dribbles to 84%. 100 times Norwich lost possession, 117 for City. 37 duels won to 39, 13 aerial duels won to 12, 11 tackles to 5, 6 interceptions to 11, and 29 clearances to 9. What was your thoughts on this? Do you think those stats represent the game?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're always a bit skewed, aren't they, when you're obviously like losing possession and things. I mean, City seem to do it, but obviously because it's City was 79% of possession, so they're bound to have in total. Obviously, if you put that into a percentage, it probably obviously comes back to the percentages of the whole game. So, yeah, nothing surprising. I know obviously Norwich did have attempts, but it was, we'll come to the players. I don't think Ederson had anything apart from the one at the post. I don't think it had anything to mind for him. So I think those stats pretty much are in line with how we play these games. Sometimes we might only win the game 1-0 though, but fortunately we won 4-0 this time. But I've seen similar stats when we've, like Brentford, for instance, you probably would have seen similar stats in that game where we just won it 1-0. It's just how many we can put in the old net when it comes down to it.
Yeah, and the attack momentum looked like this. So Norwich had a bit of a period in the first half, but domination for City really there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's not bad actually. That's pretty good, isn't it? That's really that didn't. I think they had a 5-minute spell, and I think that shows it, doesn't it? Where they sort of hit the post, and they had us a little bit worried. We sort of thought, come on, up your game, City, a little bit. And you can't. But even the worst Premier team, they're going to have elements. They're going to have times in a game where they are going to take chance to get a couple of corners or get a free kick and put you under a bit of pressure or break at pace, and someone slips or something happens. And obviously, I think Diaz had a bit of a let off early doors, but I think he did it. I think he had John Stones' boots on. He slipped over, but I think the guy was offside, so we got away with it. But so you're always going to get elements like that. But yeah, I mean that graph is probably a good reflection of it.
Yeah. Big up Static in the chat. Hope you're well, mate. We'll get to the players then, of course, starting with the keeper. Ederson in goal. His stats look like this. 3 saves, 2 out of 2 successful run-outs, 3 saves from inside the box, 40 touches, 90% accurate passes, 3 out of 6 accurate long balls as well. Thoughts on Ederson's performance?
Yeah, there's that one. I think where there's some images on social media of him where there's about a couple of Norwich players behind him, about 4 City players behind him. And I remember him doing that, and it never looked as though it was going to be a problem. And to be honest with you, Norwich didn't even look as though they wanted to attack him when he was doing that, because he'll just ping it somewhere else. So they were wary of it, and that's what they have to do. They're not going to put any pressure on him because he's just cool and calm. And I think that sort of summed up his game. He did have a couple of saves to make. Didn't have much chance with the one that hit the post. I mean, from our angle, we thought he'd got a fingertip to it or something. At the other end, we were at the other end. It looked as though obviously he got a little touch to it to put it onto the post, but obviously he didn't. But I mean, he couldn't. There's nothing he could do with that, and basically, for what he did have to do, he did competently.
Yeah, definitely. Big up Niall in the chat as well. Next up is Kyle Walker. His stats look like this. He got an assist, 1 clearance, 1 tackle. He was dribbled past once. 1 out of 2 ground duels were won. 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won. 10 times he lost a possession. 86 touches, 89% accurate passes, 2 key passes, none out of 2 accurate crosses, 4 out of 5 accurate long balls, and 2 shots blocked. Thoughts on Kyle Walker's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, I think he works hard because he's obviously still on the naughty step, isn't he, for that getting banned for the Champions League. So I think he put a lot of work in, and I think was that assist where obviously for Sterling where the defender didn't quite control it when it shot it. It's not really an assist, is it? Because the defender helped it onto Sterling. I mean, it's a bit pushing it just a little bit, but I did like the way he whipped the cross in. He doesn't always do that, and obviously he gave the defender. I don't know what the defender was doing. I think he just couldn't control it, or he tried to pass it or something, and obviously just fell to Sterling. But I like Walker doing that, but he doesn't. For me, I just want Walker for his pace. 2 or 3 times he come back very quickly to sort of save little breaks by Norwich, and that's what I want him for. I don't expect anything from him going forward. I just want him, So really, for me, he can stay in our half of the pitch and just have the pace to back up if need be. But it's not how we play, is it? But I don't think we're going to see anything great from Walker going forward. And as I say, it was an interesting assist, but we don't see enough of those whipped in crosses like that from Walker's side anyway.
No, definitely not. Next up then is Ruben Diaz at centre-back. His stats look like this. He got an assist as well. 5 clearances, 1 out of 2 ground duels were won, 1 out of 2 aerial duels were won. 6 times he lost a possession. 1 foul, 93 touches, 94% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 8 out of 10 accurate long balls, 1 big chance created, 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked, and 1 out of 1 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Ruben Diaz's performance?
Yeah, well, apart from that thing we already talked about, where obviously Pukki was offside. I think it was Pukki was offside for it. He did make an error. He did make an error, but fortunately, as I said, we got away with it because obviously the Norwich player was offside. That was very early in the game as well. It could have easily led to a goal. But apart from that, I mean, that fantastic header he did at the back post to put it back across, brilliant. And that's what we want. We're doing more from set pieces now, and thankfully, after years of doing bugger all, our big guys are actually performing. The only one who isn't performing for me from set pieces now is Rodri. When Rodri plays, obviously you can't blame him for the Norwich game, but I think Diaz, Stones, Laporte, even Ake are quite looking dangerous from set pieces and dangerous from crosses where they're managing to get in the box. So that's great, as I say. So he had a good steady game, and I say a great assist for Sterling's goal.
Yeah, definitely. Next to him, of course, was Nathan Ake. His stats look like this: 1 clearance, 2 interceptions, 3 tackles. He was dribbled past once, 3 out of 5 ground duels were won, 4 out of 7 aerial duels were won. 8 times he lost possession, 102 touches, 92% accurate passes, 2 key passes, 3 out of 6 accurate long balls, 1 big chance created, 1 shot off target. He hit the woodwork once and 1 big chance missed as well. Thoughts on Nathan Ake's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, he's a bit disgusted with himself. He missed that chance, but it was a hard one. Obviously, he was stretching, wasn't he? But I thought he was the best of our 4 defenders. I'll be honest with you. I thought he was outstanding. He didn't quite make man of the match for me, but I thought he was absolutely excellent. Didn't let us down. I think we've talked about Nathan Ake before. You know you're going to get 100% from him, and he's not a big lad either, but he wins his fair share of headers, aerial duels. All right, he didn't win it. I think he got 4 out of 7 there, but in those stats. But no, I thought he was the pick of our back 4, back 5 if you count Ederson, of course, as a keeper. I thought he was excellent, Nathan Ake.
Yeah. He tweeted as well after the game. Great win on the road and always happy with another clean sheet. Congrats Sterling on the hat-trick. Come on, City. Into the left back then, Alexander Zinchenko. Next up, his stats look like this. 1 clearance, 1 interception. He was dribbled past once, none out of 1 ground duels were won, 2 out of 5 aerial duels were won. 17 times he lost possession, 116 touches, 91% accurate passes, 2 key passes, 1 out of 8 accurate crosses, 7 out of 9 accurate long balls as well. Thoughts on Zinchenko's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, I mean, he's not Cancelo, is he? He's not as smooth as Cancelo. He's not as clever, but he's a bit more direct, and that sometimes is a good thing. We get that ball moving up the pitch a lot quicker. He can't defend like Cancelo can't defend, so we don't lose anything defensively because I think they're both as bad as each other. I'll be honest with you, Cancelo and Zinchenko are not the greatest at defending, so we don't lose anything defensively. Going forward, yes, we might lose a little bit of that little outside of the boot, the little nice little dinks and stuff like that, but you get more of a routine putting it to players who perhaps can do the better stuff. So he did very well. I mean, Zinchenko is a weak link defensively, but so's Cancelo. So for me, it was just like for like with a slightly different way of moving the ball up the pitch.
Yeah, definitely. Into the midfield then, of course, Fernandinho started this game. His stats look like this: 97 touches, 89% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 6 out of 7 accurate long balls, 1 big chance created, 2 shots off target, 3 out of 3 successful dribble attempts, 1 big chance missed, 3 out of 4 ground duels were won, 12 times he lost possession, 1 clearance, 1 block shot, and 1 interception. Thoughts on Fernandinho's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, the teams like Norwich are ideal for Ferner because he just uses experience. He doesn't particularly need any sort of pace, which obviously he's never pacey anyway. But obviously at his age now, he just uses his head. He uses his head all the time. He's putting those little pitching wedge type little dinks over the top all the time. At least I think he did at least 5 or 6 of those during the game where he was trying to, and 3 or 4 of them came off. I think got to City players, got us into a position up front. Ideal game for him. Norwich is he's certainly. I don't think he'll be playing against Lisbon tomorrow night as we're doing this, but that's the sort of level where his quality and his skill and his experience. He does just as good a job as Rodri would do. I don't think Rodri would have done any better against Norwich. Rodri will do better against other teams, but yesterday, perfect game for Ferner.
Yeah. Into the next player then after Fernandinho is Bernardo Silva. His stats look like this: 50 touches, 93% accurate passes, 4 key passes, none out of 1 accurate long balls, 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked, 2 out of 2 successful dribble attempts. He hit the woodwork once, 2 out of 6 ground duels were won, none out of 1 aerial duels were won, 6 times he lost possession, 1 foul, 1 offside, and he was dribbled past once as well. Thoughts on Bernardo's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, I mean, he had to make up for K. Obviously there's 2 or 3 at Foden. Him and Gundagan had to make up for obviously KDB's not being there with the creativity. And to be honest with you, how that shot stayed out, I have no idea because it was a perfect angle with his left foot for it to go in off the post. How it just bounced off the post back to Gunn. I was thinking it was a goal because we were right behind it. I was thinking it was a goal from the moment he kicked it. I thought it was going to hit the post and go into the net rather than go back to Angus Gunn. So how that stayed out, I don't know. He wasn't quite as proactive after that. I don't think he had any great chances after that, but he just worked hard. He just let other people like Foden and even Gundagan was a bit more proactive, a bit more direct. And I thought Bernardo played just played well, as I said. And it's a shame he didn't get that goal. That would have suited him. He's not had a goal for a while, has he? So would have been nice to see.
Yeah, it would have. And next up, the final man in the midfield, of course, Ilkay Gundagan. His stats look like this: 82 touches, 91% accurate passes, 2 key passes, 1 out of 5 accurate crosses, 7 out of 8 accurate long balls, 1 big chance created, 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target, 1 out of 1 successful dribble attempts, 2 out of 2 ground duels were won, 1 out of 2 aerial duels were won, 11 times he lost the possession, 3 interceptions and 1 tackle as well. Thoughts on Gundagan's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, I mean, he usually thrives when KDB's not about and he's given that responsibility. He usually thrives, and given the fact he's not played much, I think he did thrive within the limitations of the fact he's not had much match playing experience for the last couple of months, if you like. But he did very, very well. He perhaps should have had a goal or 2. And they say on another day they might have gone in, and I'm a bit gutted because I had him down as anytime goal scorer, so that ruined my little thing because I think he had at least 1 great opportunity that didn't go in. He just, I mean, as I said, when KDB's not there, you could rely on Gundagan. He did, was it last season when he played a lot of games when KDB wasn't around? He was a revelation. He was scoring goals, doing a lot, and very similar against Norwich. He was always involved. And as I said, Bernardo was a little bit quieter, but Gundagan seemed to be at the centre of everything, which when KDB's not around, that's what you want him to do. You want him to step up, and I think he did.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, onto the right-hand side was Riyad Mahrez. His stats look like this. Give me a moment. Mahrez, here he is. 84 minutes played, 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target, 2 out of 3 successful dribble attempts, 59 touches, 95% accurate passes, 3 key passes, none out of 5 accurate crosses, 1 out of 2 accurate long balls, 3 out of 4 ground duels, 1 out of 2 aerial duels, 12 times he lost possession. He was fouled once and 1 interception as well. Thoughts on Riyad Mahrez's performance?
Yeah, not his most outstanding game. I think what I liked about it, he seemed to be willing to put work in and put the ball to someone else. There's no real greed with him. If he didn't see an opportunity or an half attempt, he didn't have a shot or he didn't try for a cross. He tried to play in other players, and just a more unselfish game from him. I think, to be honest, I think he's very close to equaling some sort of record or getting a goal tally. I'm not too sure what it is. I know another goal and he gets some sort of record. I'm not sure what it is, but you saw no sign of him being greedy, which is very unlike Mahrez. He's usually very greedy when he knows something's up for grabs. Perhaps he doesn't know. I'm not too sure, but a quietish game for him, but he was still part of the team, still played well.
Yeah. I forgot to say, Gundagan tweeted after the game, dominating team performance once again. Let's keep the spirit up. Thanks for your support. So into the hat-trick hero next up, Raheem Sterling, on the left-hand side, 3 goals. It was a perfect hat-trick as well. 5 shots on target, 3 out of 5 successful dribble attempts. He did miss the penalty. 63 touches, 76% accurate passes, 1 key pass, none out of 3 accurate crosses, 6 out of 11 ground duels were won, 1 out of 3 aerial duels were won. 19 times he lost the possession, 2 fouls, he was fouled 3 times, and 2 interceptions as well. Thoughts on Sterling's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, interesting rating there on that thing. Was it 9.3 or something I saw, which is a very, very good, very good rating. Aaron's, wasn't it? I think Aaron's was responsible for trying to keep a grip of him. He was not a bad little player, but he couldn't cope. He got it when Sterling's doing that. You've got to at least double up on him because not everything came off, which he won't do with Raheem. But what can you say? I mean, you can't be churlish after. All right, the third goal was a bit iffy to say the least, but at least he gave him the opportunity, as you said, to score the perfect hat trick to stroll in and put it in with his left foot. I did panic. I must admit, when we got the penalty, I was looking for Mahrez. I forgot he'd got off the pitch, and then everyone sort of sighed in disbelief when Sterling picked up the ball to take the penalty. But he got away. He got away with it. But all credit to him. The other 2 goals are a cracker. I like him in the 6-yard box because if he's in when that header from Diaz came back to him, he was in the 6-yard box. He can miss. we know he can miss, but there's less likelihood. He doesn't have much time to think about it. So yeah, that was a great second goal. That first goal, well, I mean, obviously it was reminiscent of a couple of his goals in the past that he scored, where he puts it into the far corner from an angle. And all credit to him. No, he had a great game. Yes, I wouldn't have given 9.3 out of 10, but it was certainly my highest mark of the day.
Yeah. A few more stats on Sterling. Only Aguero has scored more Premier League hat-tricks for City than Sterling. He's now on 5.
He might catch him up one day. You never know. He's not old, is he?
No, 27. Can easily catch him up. The next one, Sterling has now scored 53 goals in away matches under Pep in all competitions, the same amount that Aguero netted under the City manager as well.
That's a good start, isn't it? That's a great start, yeah.
Yeah. And 2 quotes. as well. We said last week we go one step at a time. We knew to keep chipping away at it. It's football. You're going to get chances. You have to keep going and getting in the right areas. Keep shooting, and the goals will come. And the next one, consistency and the mindset to keep wanting to do better and win is key. Not to rest on our laurels, and that is the only way we will get better. To be a top team, it's every 3 days. That's the challenge for us to win every 3 days. Next up, then another English international, Phil Foden, is next up. His stats look like this. He scored a goal, 2 shots on target, 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked, 4 out of 4 successful dribble attempts, 1 big chance missed, 61 touches, 95% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 2 out of 3 accurate crosses, 2 out of 3 accurate long balls, 5 out of 8 ground duels were won, none out of 1 aerial duels were won, 7 times he lost a possession, 1 foul, he was fouled once, 1 offside, 1 interception, and he was dribbled past once as well. Thoughts on Foden's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, again, without KDB, he was allowed to get a bit more involved. I still don't think he's quite at it as he should be. I mean, the goal was quite clever. At least he was strong and tough to sort of take the ball off that defender. You know, we got sort of stuck between him and the defender, didn't it? And he managed to sort of wrestle the ball away from him. So good goal. As I say, it's obviously from our angle. It didn't. We were all thinking, how did he miss that? But obviously he didn't. It did go over the line. But obviously, I think the initial save from his was just luck from Angus Gunn. I think he just hit him, and I think obviously it could have easily gone in the first attempt. But yeah. It's still, again, he was asked to play up the middle, mate. I mean, it's not his strongest point, is he? He's out on the wing. One of the wing is his best place, and he was asked to play up the middle again, and that's what Pep's doing. He's asking him to play somewhere he's not overly comfortable with, and he did an okay job. Still not his best, but he's not playing perhaps in his best role, to get the best out of him. But that's the team, isn't it? It's with Pep's teams, you have to accept what job he gives you, and he scored a goal, so that'll do for me.
Yeah. Into the substitutes then. 3 youngsters, which I like to see personally. First up, James McAtee was on for 15 minutes, 11 touches, 67% accurate passes. None out of 3 ground duels were won, 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won, 5 times he lost possession, 1 foul, and he was dribbled past once as well. Thoughts on McAtee's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, like you said there, it was nice to see the 3 young ones on the bench all coming on. I think that was brilliant, and that's all you can say, really. I don't think he got that involved. I don't think that was great. He didn't do anything special. It was just a matter of putting the number 3-0 up, just a matter of giving the lads 10 or 15 minutes, and that's what we managed to do.
Yeah. Next up, then, Liam Delap. His stats look like this. 9 minutes he was on the pitch. He won the penalty, 2 touches, 100% accurate passes, 1 out of 2 ground duels were won. 1 foul, he was fouled once. He doesn't even have a map there in the top right. That just shows how long he was on the pitch, really.
Yeah, well, at least he was slightly affected. At least he had an involvement in creating that goal, because at the end of the day, all right, it might have been a little bit soft, but I don't know what the Norwich manager was whinging about. I mean, if you're going to run into a guy in the box, it's a foul. It doesn't matter what happened. I mean, I just can't believe his comment that it just literally didn't even get the ball. He just ran into him. Surely it's a foul, and Delap brought that, and he's a big lad, and he probably will do that in the future. I wouldn't mind to see. I know Sterling took the penalty because it was that trick, but it would have been nice just to perhaps give it Delap from Sterling's point of view. I can understand it, but again, I was a bit disappointed that Sterling just didn't give it. Say, you take it, because Sterling knows he's not great at penalties, and there's a fair chance he was going to miss it, which he did. Really, he was just very lucky. I was a bit disappointed. He should have given it Delap for me, Sterling. That's probably knocked him half a point off my mark for not doing that, because I think Delap earned it, and I think he should have given Delap the chance to take the penalties, in all fairness.
Yeah, I agree. And the last player, a Premier League debut, for Keiki. He was the final sub. He's also not got a map in the top right. 10 minutes played, 3 touches, 100% accurate passes, none out of 1 ground duels with 1. He's lost possession once, 1 foul as well. He's only made 2 appearances for the first team this game and Swindon in the FA Cup third round, but he has been playing very well for the EDS side. Do you see him being a main part of our team in the future?
I'm surprised he's playing so early, to be honest with you. Usually we wouldn't have even seen him. I don't think we would have even seen him coming off the bench or being on the bench. But obviously, with the smaller squad, which is what's happened, I mean, no matter what anyone else says, with our smaller squad at the moment, it's giving that opportunity. And obviously, Pep he's not going to put him in there for sentimental value. He's got to put him in there for the experience. The fact is that he thinks he's a good little player. So we can only hope. I say we've not seen enough of him yet at that level. I said I've not watched any EDS games recently or any whatever level he plays at. Is it the EDS he plays for? Or so I've not seen any of them to know if he's good or not. But no, all credit to him. He's getting an opportunity. He's getting on a pitch, and it can't do him any harm, can it? And they say he probably will get farmed out still. Probably, I would have thought perhaps next season if we build the squad a little bit more, we actually buy 3 or 4 new players without anyone leaving. But no, all credit to him, and I'm glad he got on. It's nice to see him get on.
Yeah, definitely. Into the manage. Actually, we've got a stat before we go to Pep. It's just an update on the goal contributions after the match. Mahrez still at the top with 22. Sterling 15, Foden 14, Jesus 14, De Bruyne 14, Cancelo 11, Gundagan 11, and Bernardo in 10. On 10, sorry. We'll go to Pep then. Do you think he got it right? Yes, on Saturday.
He's a genius, mate. I mean, obviously, as I say, he gets paid the big money. He wouldn't. I mean, for me now, at this point in time, I would have played a fairly strong team because, all right, we're going to Sporting, but we haven't got that many games. We've got Tottenham, and then we've got a week gap to the Everton game. So the players they just had a break, the players. So but he's right. He's got a squad. Pep's got a squad. He has faith in that squad. And as I say, no one the 5 players who came into that squad who perhaps haven't been playing as regular as they should have been doing, did a good job because there's 5 key players left out. So there's obviously those 5 key players I expect to come back for Sporting. And as I said, that's 5 changes to the last game we played. And that doesn't usually do well. But I think this squad's so tight now and it is so small. I think it doesn't make a lot of difference. It's not making a bigger difference as it perhaps would have done last season or the season before. And Pep knows his squad. I was a bit worried. But why should I be worried? I mean, obviously, I'm thinking, we're risking this. We're risking points in the Premier League for the Sporting Lisbon game. But he didn't. He got it spot on, and that's why he's paid the big money, and that's why he's successful. And all right, we know he has his brain farts, but obviously he was proved correct in this one. So who am I to argue with his decision?
Yeah. We've got quite a few quotes and a stat here. We'll start with the star. City's win over Norwich was Pep Guardiola's 550th victory in his senior management career. A few quotes then as well. Sterling made a fantastic game, especially after the goal. He was so aggressive and direct. He made a fantastic goal. The second one, he was there. He has been an incredibly important player in all these seasons with the amount of goals and assists. He also said, I said many times what an incredible captain Fernandinho is. On and off the pitch, he helps the team a lot in the locker room. He's always there to give good advice. Of course, Rodri now is in form, but he cannot play every game. He played today with personality. He also said Foden's a special player, but he can play both wide positions and attacking midfielder, but with other players out, Jesus and Grealish, he can play there as a false 9 and suits it perfectly. He also said on Grealish, he's injured a little bit what he had last season at Villa, less of course. Training after Brentford, he wasn't good. We made a test. He wasn't ready today, hopefully ready for Tuesday. He also said Sterling made a brilliant first goal, and the second he was there, you realise his confidence, aggression in the last game. He made an excellent action. He always creates something. Next up, from the first minute, we created 2 or 3 chances in 5 or 10 minutes. It was a really good performance overall. Next up is we need a lot of points. We knew what rival we have. The closest one is Liverpool. They won't drop many points for the quality they have. It's the best squad they have in the last decade. We'll have to win a lot of games. Next up is what a captain we have. I said many times all the things going to happen to him. He deserves it. That's, of course, about Fernandinho. On the squad, we need everyone. We cannot play all competitions with just 11 players. We don't have any doubts about the squad because I know how important they are this season. Everyone is going to help us. On Grealish, I don't know if he will be ready for Tuesday. After Brentford, we trained and he was uncomfortable. He was not able to play today, but hopefully in the next days, he finds out it's not serious. On Mahrez, an exceptional player, but I want more for Riyad. I want more. How clever he is. Assists, goal scorer, his mentality, he's exceptional. Next up, but at the same time, he's sometimes weak in the duels. We know each other for a long time. He knows the intentions we say to him are always in a positive way. Next up, on Sterling's contract in the future, I don't know what's going to happen because the club decides. The club all the time, when they extend the players' contracts, I give my opinion, but the club takes the decisions all the time. Nobody doubts how important he is. He's shown it. What I want is for tomorrow and the day after, he and all the players play well. If we count the amount of games he's played since we are together, it's a lot. A key player. He's known Sterling for 6 seasons. I know him perfectly. And this season, he was outstanding in goals and assists for the team and for himself. During this period, there are highs and lows and problems. It's part of life, not a honeymoon. He also said there are always problems you have to solve, and when it is important, is to see the next chapter and next games, next moments, big smiles, being positive, and try to do it. Next up, he has full confidence in Zinchenko and Nathan Ake. They're one of the nicest players we have. One of the qualities we have as a team is the humanity we have, and Nathan is the biggest expression of that. Everyone loves him massively. And finally, no one is untouchable, not even me. The club is above us all. He's above all of us. What I'm looking for is to win, for people to travel 5 to 6 hours by car, train, to see us. A good performance to be provided. The best way is for everyone to perform their best. Next up, then, we'll talk about Norwich. How do you think they played, Bernard?
I think they're in trouble again, mate. Obviously, they did have a brief flurry, didn't they? I've just been looking at the games coming up for them. Obviously, they got Southampton and Liverpool away. They got Liverpool twice because they play them in the cup as well. But in the league, they're not going to get anything that's out of the way Southampton are playing. They're playing very, very well. So they won't get anything there. And then after, even in March, I think they've got just 3 league games, and they're all difficult. So you could end up after the next 5 games not getting any more points. And that'll mean that, I know Watford are falling down a hole at the moment, but it'll probably mean if Burnley pick up a couple of points, they'll be back bottom or next to bottom, and the teams above them will be, will be sort of getting points ahead, even if they only pick up 3 or 4. Because I can't see Norwich getting many points. So I think the trouble is when you give your fans a bit of hope, which they did, obviously winning, let's say they got to 4th from bottom, didn't they? All right, other teams had games in hand, but and the thing that kills you is hope. I mean, as a fan, I'd rather, as a Norwich fan, I would have probably rather them be stuck rock bottom and just enjoy it for what it is. But obviously, now it looks as though they're going to have to perform, or Mr. Smith's going to have to perform a bit of a minor miracle now over the next 12, 13 games to keep them up. But at this point in time, they've got to be favourites to be relegated, probably alongside Burnley and Watford at the moment. I could see those 3 as the obvious, unless teams, someone like Brentford gets dragged back into it. But I think Leeds, Everton got enough, and Newcastle look as though they've got enough to get out of it now. So you just left with them. So Norwich are in trouble, and I said they weren't great. They weren't great in this game. They had chances, but as I said, Premier League teams are always going to get chances, no matter where they are, at some stage in a 90-minute match. So yeah, I think they're definitely, as I say, at the end of December, you would probably said, yeah, they're definitely relegated. Then they had by the end of January, they're improving here, but it's not looking good now.
Yeah. Next up is the referee, Andre Mariner. Just before we go to you, Bernard, Dean Smith said it's never a penalty, and I told the ref after it's a pathetic decision. It will probably get a tick on Mike Riley's stats calendar, but it's never a penalty. What do you think about the penalty, Bernard?
I thought it was a spot-on penalty. It was just clumsy. It's just, what can you do when you lose 4-0? And it could have been 3-0. I mean, there's nothing to say we wouldn't have scored another goal, even if it hadn't been given a penalty. Nothing to say we wouldn't have got a fourth anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's just churlish. I mean, why? I don't understand it. It's just as though he's trying to make a point, but it's needless. There's no point. It was just clumsy. He just ran into him. All right, Delap's a big lad, but he ran into him. All right, it was soft in that way. But if you're going to run into someone in the penalty box, it's a penalty. So I don't really know. I didn't watch Match of the Day or anything like that. I don't know what other people thought of it, if they had any sort of reaction. But I've watched it on replay. I was there when it happened. And when it happened, I thought it was a bit soft. But then you watch it on replay, and he just ran into him. So I don't know why Dean Smith is making a big issue of it. It just seemed a bit of trying to distract people from what actually happened on the pitch and the mess Norwich are in, and that's all I can think from Dean Smith. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, we will talk about the fans. Just before we go to you, Bernard, a sellout again, 2.5k went down a 410-mile round trip. Do you think City have the best away fans in the country, maybe?
Definitely one of the best. I would imagine top 5. It's like anything. It's nice. It's nice when we're winning. Perhaps it's not as noisy when we're getting beat, unless we're getting hammered, and then it probably gets noisier again. That's what City fans are like. But it's got to be top 3 or 5 as far as Premier League teams are concerned. As far as noise is concerned, we mentioned the Norwich fans. They were very, very quiet, extremely quiet. But then again, all right, they were 1-0 down. It wasn't that early, was it? They went 1-0. It wasn't. What time did we score the first goal? It was 30 minutes, wasn't it? Yeah, it's half an hour. So yeah, they were very quiet, the Norwich fans, and with it being a tight, small, compact ground. That surprised me a little bit, but I've not been for a long time to Norwich. I was about 30 odd the last time I went to Norwich, about 30 years ago. So, and I don't particularly think they're that vociferous, are they? Let's be honest about it. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't get behind and seem a little better, because I've heard they get good reviews sometimes on the noise from their fans, but it was pretty pathetic from them. And yeah, the City fans are great away. I'll say we get stick at home, but I've defended us at home as well, haven't I, when we've had other little pods and stuff. So I won't go into that now. But yeah, definitely. And I say we weren't the noisy. I don't think it was the noisiest at Norwich. I've heard City fans, to be honest with you, got a lot of credibility. That 40-minute thing where we clapped for that guy who sadly passed away, which is a nice little touch, which I think they're going to try and do again against Tottenham, aren't they, on Saturday for the 40th minute again for the lad. A lot of people knew him. I didn't really know much about the guy. So yeah, as I said, it wasn't the noisiest away end I've been in, to be honest with you, by a long way. But yeah, they got behind the lads, and I think they appreciated it. And even Pep came over at the end of the game, which is unusual. He doesn't always come over to the fans. He leaves it just to the players. But even he came over as well.
Yeah. We'll look at the Premier League table then. Of course, Liverpool won as well on Sunday. So the gap is now 9 points. Liverpool with a game in hand. Norwich are down in 18th after Newcastle winning yesterday. They're now 4 points off safety. Do you think Norwich are gone?
Yeah, I think so. Unless there's I say, well, by the 1st of April, I'll probably clarify that. But as I said, if they get anything out the next 5 games, I'll be very surprised. And they do have to play the 3. You have to play Newcastle, Burnley, and Watford at home or something like that. Anyway, they have to play 3 of the teams around, that's down in the bottom 6 at home over the next few weeks. So that'll be important. But I can't. The team I watched against City, they're just not good enough. They're just not good enough to stay up at the moment. But as I say, half a dozen games from now, I'd say yeah, definitely. But I'd say 99% yes at the moment.
Yeah. Next question then. Man of the match. Who are you giving it to?
Yeah, I'll have to give it whatever everyone else give it, mate. I say second place, I'd give Aki. I thought Aki was excellent. I thought of our defenders, I thought it was superb. I thought the midfielders were okay, but overall, you have to give it Sterling. I mean, you'd be a bit churlish, a bit unkind not to give it Sterling, because what more can you do apart from score a perfect hat-trick?
Yeah. And the final question, tomorrow night away in Lisbon, how are you feeling for that game?
Yeah, I never get wound up about Champions League games. The only time I did last year was the semi-final and the final. I don't really worry too much till it gets to that level. I'm not really worrying too much. I'll hopefully enjoy it. But I wouldn't put it past. I mean, I've been looking today at it, and or it might be my memory, but a lot of these sort of games, we sometimes go a goal behind against these teams that we should beat, and we always usually come back and beat them. But we usually, the crowd are behind them and they're going for it. It'd be interesting to see how they react after that exciting game they had against Porto on Friday night, where they got 3 men sent off. Porto got 2 men sent off, so that was a bit feisty. So it'd be interesting to see how they play. But yeah, they're okay. I think of the weaker teams, if you like. They are a good team, but City we should have enough. He'll play, those 5 guys that were on the bench will probably all come back into the team. Obviously, we'll have Stones working, presumably at right back, unless he's going to have a change of heart now. Zinchenko had a good game. Perhaps he'll play Zinchenko and play Cancelo right back, and Stones will miss out. We don't know with Pep, do we? Perhaps, but that's the only sort of change I could see based on the fact Zinchenko has played a lot of European games, hasn't he? He's played quite a lot in the past, and he's usually done an okay job. So, but apart from that, I expect all 5 of those guys on the bench to come into the team. We should have enough, but I don't think it's going to be hammering. If we win by 1 goal, I'll be happy. If we win by 2 goals, I'll be very happy. But I don't think it's going to be a 3 or 4 goal winning margin. And I wouldn't even put it past it being a draw, to be honest with you. I mean, we'd stuff them at our place, but a 1 goal or 2 goal winning margin will do for me, because they're not a bad team, but they're not a great team, and it's the sort of teams we have to beat if we're gonna go a 1 step further this year.
Yep, definitely. We'll wrap it up there then. Just before we wrap it up, where can we find you, mate?
Yeah, well, obviously I'm under my City vlogs are now under the Citizen channel, so obviously you do put that in your search engines. But if you follow me on Twitter at Bernard_Deneen, all the links to my YouTube channel, my film and TV stuff as well are on there. And it's so it's just remember the DINN. But even if you misspell it, it'll probably still come up. So don't worry about it. But you can get all my stuff through there. And very much appreciated. And thanks for having me on.
Cheers for coming on again, mate.
No.
So, of course, you can find me here, Dugout Daily on YouTube. Also, hit the Apex. That's my F1 channel on YouTube as well. At MCFC Hibs on Twitter and at Footy Away Fans. And everybody, there will be a watch-along for tomorrow night's game against Sporting Lisbon. So, if you do want to see a proper City fan reaction to the game tomorrow night, make sure to tune in here. Everybody, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you all later. Take care.